What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, we are doing a tutorial of Treasure by Torchlight. This is the bite-size version of the game. It says this is the mint tin version of Treasure by Torchlight. There is a big box version of this game, I believe, but this is the little mini version. And yeah, this is a very, very cool game. I've played it a few times off camera, and it's really fun, guys. I'm looking forward to doing some playthroughs of this game on the channel too, but we're just going to do a tutorial in this video, and I'll read you the back of the box here. So it says, journey into the darkness in this fast-paced dungeon crawling adventure game. Take on the role of one of 3 adventurers, each with their own special abilities. Explore randomly generated dungeons to collect treasure, defeat monsters, earn XP, and level up your character to take on the final boss. Use the loot you've accrued to buy weapons and supplies to help you on your quest, but keep that torchlight lit. With every step you take, your torch grows dimmer, and there are dangerous monsters in the depths of the dungeon. So that's the little synopsis on the back of the tin, and I've got the game set up here in front of me. One thing I will mention, the game comes with these cards right here. I did an unboxing video on the game, so I highly recommend you go check that out. It comes with all of these, which are like tracker cards and little cards to hold different types of cards. It's like slots for different types of cards, as you can see, like enemy, treasure, dungeon tiles, bank, so on and so forth. But I bought the little mat for the game. It's like a cardboard mat, and it consolidates all of that stuff onto the mat. Highly recommend getting this. It was fairly cheap too. Don't remember how much it was exactly, but it was very, very reasonably priced, and it's worth it to consolidate everything and keep it nice and neat. So guys, the objective of this game is you're going to journey through multiple randomly generated dungeons, and along the way, you're going to defeat monsters, collect treasure, earn experience points, and level up your character, and eventually you're going to take on and defeat the final boss. That is how you win the game, when you defeat the final boss. Now we'll go through the setup. So we're going to single out only the green enemy cards and place them on the enemy slot and discard the rest for now. So I've already gone ahead and done that. As you can see right here, all of these cards are enemy cards, and they have green backgrounds. So those are the ones that you're going to use when you first start playing as a level 1 character. And the game also comes with these other enemy cards. As you can see here, they have orange backgrounds and then red backgrounds respectively. So those are going to ramp up the difficulty as you level up and move further into the game. Next thing you want to do is you want to shuffle up the treasure and shop cards and place them on their respective slots. So we've got all the treasure cards here. We'll go ahead and give them a quick little shuffle and place them on the treasure slot right there. And then same thing with the shop cards. We'll give them a quick little shuffle and we'll place them on the shop slot right there on the mat. There we go. And then last but not least, you're going to want to place the boss card face down on the boss slot, which we have done here. We have the boss card face down right there. And then you've got your character tracker card over here. So you're going to take these 2 little magenta or pink colored cubes, and you're going to put them on the 2 slots next to special. So you're going to use these to use your special ability, depending on what character you pick. You're also going to take your green cube right here and place that on the highest amount on your HP. And then you'll take the orange cube and place that on the highest value for your torch. This is going to show you how much torchlight you have left. And then also on your tracker card, it shows your attack. When you're level 1, it says that if you roll a blank on the dice, you will miss. If you roll a 1, you deal 1 damage. And if you roll a 2, you'll deal 1 damage. And I should mention now too that the game comes with this nice little unique dice that has 2 blank sides, 2 sides that have a 1, and then 2 sides that have a 2 on it. So you're going to use that for your attacks for yourself and the enemies all throughout the game. Next thing you're going to want to do is take these 2 little yellow cubes right here, and you're going to put them on the zeros on the XP tracker. This is how you're going to track how much XP your character has gained throughout the game. You're also going to take this little clear cube right here, if you can just barely see that. You're going to put that on the first slot on the level up tracker where it says level 1, XP 1 right there. Next thing you're going to want to do, guys, is you're going to want to prep for a quest. So in order to prepare for the quest, if this is your first time playing, then you're going to give yourself 1,000 gold to begin the game with. So you've got all these cards right here in the bank which are like different bricks of, you've got copper, you've got gold, and then you've got these 10,000s over here. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It might be like platinum or something like that. But yeah, I don't think it specifies in the game rulebook. But this is the different denominations of currency or gold that you have over this way. And you're going to start the game with 1,000. So you'll give yourself one of those cards over here on your money pile right there. And then between dungeon runs, you can choose to use the shop to buy or sell items. So you've got these shop cards up this way. To buy items from the shop, you're going to reveal 5 shop cards and purchase any you can afford to fill any empty item slots. So you've got your 3 item slots up this way. To sell items, you exchange cards in your loot or item slots to, you're going to trade those into the bank, and you're going to get an appropriate amount of gold in return for those. So for instance, let's say you had this trapped chest. If you had that in your loot pile at the end of the dungeon and you escape, you can trade that in, and this particular one gives you 500. So you would trade that in and you would get one of these 500s from over here to add to your money. So go ahead and set that back on top of the pile for now. And if you were successful completing a quest, you're going to flip the top shop card over onto the on sale slot, which is right here, and this item will be half off. So whenever you complete the quest or the dungeon, you'll flip that card over, place it here, and its value will be halved. So in this case, this one costs 10,000. So since it's on sale, it would cost 5,000 instead. So we'll go ahead and put that back for now. And then you're going to want to choose one of the 3 hero characters and place them on the level slot on the character tracker. So you've got these 3 different unique characters right here. They're 3 different little animals. You got an axolotl. This looks like a little mouse, and I'm not entirely sure what this one is supposed to be, if I'm honest with you. It looks like it might be like a little armadillo or something. I'm not entirely sure what that one is, but they each have their own unique abilities. This one recovers 2 HP. This does 2 extra attack damage, and this recovers 2 torch. And we'll get into how you use those special abilities soon enough, but I think I'm going to go ahead and choose the axolotl for this little tutorial here. So we're going to go ahead and place that card right there. So that will complete your little character slot up that way. And then that is pretty much all you have to do in order to prepare for the quest. The last piece that you would do before you go into the dungeon is you're going to select one quest that you want to complete when you head into the dungeon. As you can see down here, you have these different quests that you can complete. There are 9 different ones, and you're going to get this little Q counter right here, or little Q tile, and you'll place that on the quest that you want to complete. So for this one, we'll just do the first one, the easiest one. Defeat 1 enemy for 500 gold. So we'll go ahead and place our Q right there. So that way we know that that is the quest that we're going for. So in order to begin a quest, we're going to locate the start dungeon tile and we'll place it on the game board. So the start tile, it is marked start tile on the back of it. Hopefully you guys can see that. And when you flip it over, it has a little entranceway with some light shining through, and then 3 branching paths that you can go down. So we'll go ahead and place that right here on the game board. And then you're going to take your little meeple character right here, and you're going to place that on that start tile just like that. Now we're going to get into how you move through the dungeon. So every time your character moves 1 space, they spend a torch point, which is tracked over here as mentioned with this little orange cube. So every time you move a space, you'll take this orange cube and you'll move it down to the next value. When you're level 1, you start with 5 torch points. You can find flint and campfires as you move through the dungeon, and that'll let you reignite and refill your torch points. So if you happen to run out, there are ways to refill that. And then certain characters can also use their special ability to refill the torch. And that is this little guy right here that will recover 2 torch points. But as mentioned, since we're playing as the axolotl, we'll go ahead and we'll set these other 2 characters off to the side for now. So when you place and move to a new tile, you must immediately play whatever that tile is, be it an enemy, a treasure, or a T tile, which we'll get to in just a moment. And you only engage with actions on a tile as you place them while exploring. So once a tile has been placed and played, it is considered spent and you cannot engage with it again. So once you move onto a tile, and you activate it and you complete whatever it is, whether it's fighting an enemy or gaining a treasure. If you were to move back onto that tile, you don't do the action again. You only do it the first time that it's played. The only exception to this rule are portals, which you can use to teleport to other portals or to the exit of the dungeon, and maybe one of those portals will come up. It's got like a little blue symbol. It's somewhere in here. We could go looking for it, but that might take a minute. So yeah, it's got like a little blue portal symbol on there. You can't miss it. And then retracing your steps over spent tiles, as mentioned, that won't activate whatever is on the tile, whether it be an enemy or a treasure or whatever, but it will use a torch point. So every time you move a tile, even if you retrace your steps, it's going to use up one of your torch points over this way. If you run out of torch points, then for each move that you make from then on, you have to roll this attack dice. If the result is a 2, then you must immediately draw an enemy card and enter into a fight. And enemies that you encounter while you have no torch points will always attack you first. So you want to keep your torch lit. So we're going to go ahead and let's show you guys how that works. So we're going to go ahead and draw a random tile. We have this one right here. It's like a little L piece right here, and there's a treasure chest on it. So we're going to go ahead and place that right this way, and then we'll move our little meeple onto it. We're going to spend 1 torch point, and we're going to get a treasure since it has a treasure chest icon on it. And we flip this over, and this is a trapped chest. It says that we can open by spending 1 torch point, or we can roll to open. Let's go ahead and try to roll to open it, guys. So if we roll a blank, we fail. And if we roll a 1 or a 2, we open it. So let's see if we're able to open it. Nice. We rolled a 2. So we were able to break open into the trapped chest, and we get 500 gold at the end of the level if we're able to escape the dungeon. So we'll go ahead and put that up here in our loot pile right there. And then we would continue on. So something to mention is there is a special type of tile called a T-tile. T-tiles, whenever you draw them, you must move to that tile, and then you must draw 2 additional tiles and place the new tiles on each available branching path. And then you must choose which path you want to take. And you can only engage with one of the 2 new tiles, so you need to choose wisely. And whichever tile you don't pick is considered spent. So if you were to move over that tile in the future, you won't activate whatever icon is on the tile. The next thing you're going to want to know about is fighting. You're going to be getting into fights with enemies as we move through here. So let's keep on going and see if we happen to draw into one. Okay, we drew into another treasure chest. So we're going to go ahead and place that right there and move on to it. That's going to spend 1 torch point just like that. We'll get another treasure. It's another trap chest. It is the same as that one, oddly enough. So let's go ahead and roll. We need a 1 or 2. But we rolled a blank, so we don't get it. So this would get discarded. We'll just place it off to the side. Then we would continue going. Let's draw another one. We got a treasure chest, but for the tutorial, I really want to show you guys an enemy. There we go. So we got a little skull icon on this one. That means that you're going to fight an enemy. So we'll go ahead and place that up this way. We'll move our little meeple onto it. We'll spend a torch point. Our torch is getting a little dim, and we're going to draw an enemy. And in this case, we got a slime. So this is something important to mention, guys. This slime in particular, he has a gray outline around the card, a gray border. But some of the enemies will have a black border. Let's go ahead and see if we can find one. Hey, perfect. I cut right to it. As you can see, this slime over here has a gray border, and this one has a black border. This is a shadow version of the enemy, and they will always attack first, even if your torch is still lit. Anytime you fight a shadow enemy, they will attack first. That's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, you will attack first in combat. So we're going to go ahead and fight the slime, and the way that you read this enemy card, it'll have the name of the enemy up at the top. So slime, it'll show you how much XP you're going to get, 1 XP. Then it'll have a little symbol right below that, this little red symbol, a little red jewel, and that is going to show you how many of your special tokens you can get back if you were to remove this card from your loot pile. So once you defeat an enemy, they go to your loot pile, and then you can use that enemy to convert it into a special cube, and then you would discard that card from your loot pile over here. Now, anytime you use one of your special abilities, that's going to expend one of your little special tokens. So these actually come in handy if you want to get your special tokens back. Then right below that, well, of course, you have the little image, the artwork of the card, which is cool. I like these little slimes. They kind of remind me of the little slime guys from Zelda 2 that jump around. If you guys are old enough to remember that, that's what those guys remind me of, which is pretty cool. And then below that is the HP. So the slime has 2 HP. Anytime you draw the enemy, you'll take this little red cube, you'll place it on the card just like that on its max HP, and then you'll move it down as you deal damage to it. Underneath that, it shows what you need to roll and what the effects of rolling that particular value are going to be. So in the case of the slime, if you roll a blank, when you're level 1, you're going to look at this first scroll right here. It would miss. If you roll a 1, it also misses. And if you roll a 2, it does 1 damage. If you were level 2 or higher and you fought this slime, then you would use this branch over this way. If you rolled a blank, he would apply the confusion status effect to you, which is up this way. There's 3 different status effects: confusion, fatigue, and poison, respectively. If he were to roll a 1, he would do 1 damage, and if he rolled a 2, he would do 2 damage. So that is all the information on the enemy card. So we're going to go ahead and fight the slime. We're going to put the little red cube on his 2 health right there. We get to attack first, so let's go ahead and roll. We rolled a 1, and if you look at our character card, if we roll a 1 or a 2, we deal 1 damage. So we'll move his health down to 1. The slime will attack. He needs to roll a 2 to hit us. Anything else will miss. He rolled a 2, so he does hit. So we're going to move our health down 1 with our little green cube. And then we need to retaliate here and hopefully take down the slime. We rolled a 1. That is enough to deal 1 damage to him. That takes him down. And then we send the slime to our loot pile up this way, just like that. So there we go. As mentioned, anytime you fight a shadow variant, the shadow variant of the monster is always going to attack you first. So that is something to keep in mind. And then, as mentioned, whenever you use your special, you'll just remove one of these little cubes and you'll do whatever the special ability that's printed on the particular character you chose is. So in this case, we would recover 2 HP, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to maximize it. If we were to get down to 1 HP, I would definitely use that ability right there. And then, whenever you choose your character for the dungeon, you don't have to stick with that character for the entire game. If you make it out of the dungeon, you can actually swap. So you could pick one of the other 2 characters if you wanted to go into the next dungeon, which is pretty cool because you're not stuck with whatever your original decision is. You can use the other 2 characters for their special abilities as well. So you can kind of toy around with that and try out, different things as you move from one dungeon to the next, which I think is pretty cool. And then if you complete a quest and you exit the dungeon, then you get to collect all the rewards that are in your loot pile up here. So you can exchange the treasure in your loot pile for money at the bank, and then you can exchange the enemy cards for XP to level up. And then on completed quests, you will also get a quest bonus if you met the conditions of your quest that you did down here. So in this case, if we defeat 1 enemy, we'll get 500 gold in addition to our loot up this way. And since we defeated that enemy, we have completed the condition of the quest. Now we just need to exit the dungeon in order to claim that. So the way that you fail is if your HP ever reaches 0 before exiting a dungeon, then you have to forfeit all of the loot collected during that run. You won't get any of that loot during that run. You are allowed to abandon quests by leaving the dungeon early to save your loot if you want to. So you could just peace out and save your loot, but doing so will not earn you the quest bonus that you would have gotten even if you completed it, and the shop items will not go on sale. So that is something to keep in mind. The next thing to talk about, guys, is leveling up. So after you exit a dungeon, you're going to add up all the enemy XP to your XP tracker down this way. And whenever your XP tracker reaches the same level as the level up tracker, you get to level up your character tracker. So that might sound like a lot. It's not too much. Let's say that you have 8 XP worth of XP from enemies in your loot pile when you escape the dungeon. You would take your tracker right here, you'd move it up to 8 in this instance, and then you would look over here on your level up tracker, and it says level 2 XP 8. So in this situation, we gained 8 XP. That's how much it requires to go to level 2. So we take our clear cube and we put it right there, and we would be a level 2 character, in which case you would take this card right here and flip it over, and there's a level 2 version on the other side. And the game also comes with 2 other cards for level 3. You flip that over, you got level 4, and then you've got level 5 and level 6. And you can see as you're leveling up, your HP is going to increase, the amount of torch points you has increases, and then you also increase how much damage you do whenever you roll your attack dice. So leveling up is very advantageous and very necessary in order to progress in the game and to make it to the boss and to be able to defeat him. Now, other things are going to happen too. So at level 2, you're going to start using the level 2 plus attacks on enemy cards as mentioned. So you'd start using the second little scroll. Whenever you reach level 3, you're going to add in the enemies that have the orange background on their artwork, and you would use the first scroll. Whenever you reach level 4, you would continue using the orange guys, but then you would use their second scroll whenever you fight them. And then when you reach level 5, you'll shuffle in the cards that have the red back. So all the enemies that have the red on them, you'll shuffle them into the enemy deck. And then when you reach level 6, you'll use the second scroll on the red enemies. So that will be the hardest enemies in the game once you reach level 6. And then from that point, you can encounter a boss. So that's the goal of the game, is you're trying to find the boss and defeat the boss. So if you are unfortunate enough to counter a boss tile, though, you do have a few options because you're not going to want to fight this guy early on in the game. If you're a level 2 or lower, you are allowed to run from the boss and keep your loot. That is an option that you have, or you could fight him, but you'll probably die trying. If you're between levels 3 and 4, you're going to roll the attack die. Where'd the attack die go? There it is. You're going to roll the attack dice, and if it has any outcome other than a 2, you get to leave the dungeon with your loot. So that is how you run from the boss if you are level 3 or 4. You have to roll. So if you roll a blank or a 1, you're free to go, and you can take your loot and leave the dungeon. Otherwise, you must leave the dungeon and forfeit all of the loot that you collected. You wouldn't be able to keep any of it. And if you're level 5 or level 6, you must immediately begin a fight with the boss. You don't have an option to run. So once you reach level 5 or 6, you have to fight the boss if you draw the boss tile from here. And you'll clearly know that it's the boss tile. It's got like a little red symbol on it, a little like demon looking guy, and that is the boss symbol. So the boss's HP, it functions slightly different from the other enemies in the game. The other enemies use this little red cube to keep track of their life, but for the boss, you're actually going to use this little 6-sided dice here. It's a very tiny little 6-sided dice, and if you look on the boss card, you'll see that it has 3 different values, 6, 12, and 18, and you just use this little dice to keep track of that. So if it's 18 health, you would put the 6 there. Once it goes all the way down to 1 and goes below that, then you would move the dice over to the 12, and so on and so forth until you either defeat the boss or the boss defeats you. And for each successful hit, you're going to rotate this little dice, obviously, instead of moving the cube down. And you're just trying to get the boss all the way down to 0 HP. So he has a maximum of 18 HP. That's the most that he'll ever have. And every attack from the boss will do damage in some way. So you're going to want to be sure to bring plenty of health potions once you get to the boss. And if you're somehow able to defeat a boss, then you win the game. That is the one win condition of Treasure by Torchlight. And one last thing to mention, guys, is that you can actually save your game. So it comes with a journal card right here. And if you flip it over, it says save your game. You can record your XP and record your gold. So if you have a dry erase marker, don't use a pen or a Sharpie or anything like that. Make sure it's a dry erase marker. You can record your score on here, your XP and your gold. So that way the next time you play, you can pull it out and you can see exactly how much you have, because most likely it's going to take you several play sessions unless you play one big long play session to get through the game. It's sort of like a cumulative adventure that you go on. You're not just going to sit down and beat the game in 15, 30 minutes or an hour. It's going to take you quite a while to go through, which is pretty cool. So you could save your progress in your journal. So that is pretty much how it goes, guys. Maybe we'll play like a couple more turns here so you could see, but that is the basic premise of the game. That is the gameplay loop. You're going to try to escape the dungeon, and then you'll collect your XP and money from here. You could buy items from the shop to help you out, and then you'll enter more dungeons. So it's not like you just go into one dungeon and then you're done. You're playing through multiple randomly generated dungeons. So we'll do a couple more little tiles here so you can see. So this is the one that I had grabbed a moment ago. There's another treasure chest right here. So we'll go ahead and move into that room. That's going to move our torch down 1, and we get a treasure. And this is 500 copper. We'll put that up there in our loot pile. Let's grab another dungeon tile. We have a T tile right here. So this is a perfect example. I could show you guys the T tiles. So you go ahead and This one is branching off down and to the left. So I'm going to put my little meeple right there. We're out of torchlight. That is unfortunate. Our torch has burned out. And now we will take 2 tiles. We'll place one here. This one has a treasure chest on it. And we'll take this one. It also has a treasure chest on it. We're getting pretty lucky. And I'll place that here. And then you would decide which way you want to go. In this instance, it's really a no-brainer. We're getting treasure either way. So I guess let's go this way. And we're going to get a treasure. But first, since we don't have any more torch points, we need to roll this dice. We want to roll anything but a 2. If we roll a 2, we're going to have to fight an enemy, and they will get to attack first, regardless of if it's a shadow enemy or not. And we rolled a 2. So perfect example. We're going to draw an enemy card. It is a blotch. Now, it's a gray bordered card, so it's not a shadow variant. But since our torchlight is out, it gets to attack first anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put the little red cube right there. It's got 2 health. It's going to get to attack first. If it rolls a blank or a 1, it misses. If it rolls a 2, it does 1 damage. It rolled a blank, so it misses. We're going to go ahead and retaliate here. We'll roll. We need anything but a blank. We rolled a 1, so we deal 1 damage. The blotch is going to retaliate against us. It rolls a blank, so it misses. And one more shot, hopefully. Nope, we missed. Back and forth battle here. The blotch attacks. It misses. We attack. We missed. Dude, we're just missing. We're both whiffing all over the place. It's an epic battle with this blotch. Ooh, it rolls a 2, and it does damage us. So we're down to 1 HP. So in this circumstance, I'm going to go ahead and spend one of my special points here, and we're going to recover 2 HP with our special ability and go back up to 3 hit points just like that. Now, we're going to get to retaliate here. Hopefully, we can take it down. We roll a 2. We deal 1 damage to it. We defeat the blotch, and we'll add that to our loot pile up this way. Now we can resolve what is on our tile. So it is a treasure. We're going to draw a treasure, and we got a sharp stick. It says 1 damage, discard after use, and we can sell it for 2,000. So we're going to go ahead and equip that in one of our item slots. That is really cool. We can just automatically do 1 extra damage with that. Now we're going to keep going further into the dungeon here. Whoa, dudes, this is a crazy one. There are 3 treasure chests on this card. So we run into like a little honey hole treasure trove right here. We're going to go ahead and move into there. Since we have no torch points, we need to roll anything but a 2. Oops, otherwise an enemy will attack. We rolled a 1, so we're safe. And we get 3 treasure cards. We got 500 copper. We got a trap chest that we can open by spending a torch point, which we don't have. Or we can roll to open it. We need a 1 or a 2. We rolled a 2, so we're able to open it. Amazing. And we get 1 more, and it's also a trap chest. And we don't have any torch points to spend, so we can roll to open it. We need a 2 to open this one because it's got 1,000 gold in it. And we rolled a blank, so we're not able to get that one, unfortunately. And then this is a dead end right here. So we would have to actually backtrack all the way to the entrance here to get out of the dungeon. Let's just say that we do that for the tutorial's sake. We make it all the way back. And once we get here, we're able to leave. So we would take all of our items right here. Let's reset our XP up this way. And then we would go through each of these. So let's go ahead and separate the enemies first. There we go. So we've got the blotch right here that gives us 2 XP. So we'll set our XP tracker to 2. And then we've also got the slime, which gives us 1 XP. So we'll move up to 3 XP right there, gained from that adventure. And then we also get 500 from this trap chest, another 500, another 500, and another 500. So that is 2,000 total. Plus, we completed our quest, which is worth 500. So we earned 2,500 gold in that dungeon. So we'll go ahead and go 1, 2, and 500. So we have 3,500 gold to spend. Now we would take the top shop card, flip it over. This one is on sale. And then we would take 5 cards from the shop deck, flip those over, and we could purchase those if we would like. And if we wanted to, we could also sell this item to the shop for the value printed, which in this case is 2,000. And then, as mentioned, guys, you would buy your items. You would take all the cards, shuffle them back into the shop deck. You would take these cards. You would shuffle these back into their respective decks. So the treasure cards would go into the treasure deck, and then the enemy cards would go into the enemy deck. You'd shuffle those back up. You take all your tiles right here, add them back to the pile over this way, and then you'll give them a quick little mix so that way you don't know which tiles are where. and then you could head into another dungeon. You can either keep the same character, you could switch to a different character if you like, and then you head into another dungeon to do it all over again. And you keep going, leveling up and making your way through the dungeons until you eventually find the boss and defeat the boss. And that is how you win Treasure by Torchlight. So there it is, guys. That's a quick little tutorial of how you play the game. If this looks interesting to you guys, you can head over to thegamecrafter.com to pick up your own copy of Treasure by Torchlight. This is not a sponsored video, but that's where you got to go if you want to get it. And as mentioned at the beginning of the video, you can also get this cool double-sided play mat on thegamecrafter.com as well. This makes everything nice and neat. Highly recommend picking up one of those. So there it is, guys. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up like button. If you're not already, click that red subscribe button and click the bell icon so you can stay notified every time I upload brand new videos, and upload videos just like this all the time, guys. So thank you so much, guys. And until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.